for today's talk, it's going to be my personal reflection on a book that I read recently. I don't want to give you the name of the book, except the reason is that I might misrepresent what the author was trying to say.
Now tell us the name, a little bit. Then we can do our own sort of comparisons.
I'll tell you off the record. So anyway, I speak from a Christian point of view. I'm Catholic Christian point of view, to be exact. But then I speak that I subscribe to the general Christian point of view. And I, of course, have always read very widely. One thing that I have not read a whole lot of was the books emanating from the secularist atheist point of view. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was into all sorts of New Age type ideas, and that's certainly atheist, but it's not materialist. Whereas what I would like to call hardcore atheists are materialists. Now I'll explain what I mean by that. So I'm going to talk about a particular atheist point of view, which would seem to be the mainstream atheist point of view. Then I'm going to offer some comments about that point of view as I understand it. This is not the same point of view as Richard Dawkins necessarily, because he's a militant atheist. And he's so busy being militant that he's not having success getting his facts right. But anyway, the point is that one does not have to be militant to be anti-religion, to be just because one is an atheist. But basically, there's a lot of philosophy behind, atheism. There are reasons why people become atheists. They believe that there's a philosophy that supports them, that supports their point of view. Really, the whole Western philosophy supports that point of view, and that's why us Christians have a lot of a problem with modern Western philosophy. We think that it's taken a wrong turn. But basically, there's a couple of concepts here. One is called physicalism, and the other is naturalism. Naturalism is the idea that everything that exists that can be observed is explainable in purely natural terms, and there is no need to invoke gods of any sort to explain anything. Physicalism, I think, is the belief that matter is the only reality. Nonetheless, from matter you also get other things that are real for us, thinking, emotions and all that. For example, thinking and emotions are real, but they are products of the material brain. They don't exist independently of it. That is physicalism. So atheists subscribe to this particular philosophy, and that's really why they are atheists, I suppose. Because we suppose their atheist view. They then say that natural factors, and they will admit that certain things in our universe are currently not explainable by science alone, but they claim that one day we will be able to explain them. So they believe that there is no real basis on which to resort to belief in a God to explain anything. Sounds fair enough, but it's not really, because we actually can't even prove that matter is primary and our mind or consciousness is secondary. All science shows is that consciousness and matter occur concurrently. We know that if a person's brain is damaged, then that person will be severely restricted in their thinking and their emotional life and all that. We know that whatever mental event we are talking about is always accompanied by a movement in our material brain, our material bodies. That's a correlation. It doesn't actually show that matter is the cause of consciousness and mind and all that. But then the atheists would say that we can only go for things for which we have strong evidence. Then they'll say that the evidence we have, the only strong evidence we have is that which can be scientifically tested.
Yeah.
Whatever cannot be scientifically tested, we have no strong evidence for. So they call that very weak evidence, and basically, I guess what they're really saying is there's no evidence at all. they talk a lot or a little bit about alleged parapsychological phenomena, you know, ghosts, near-death experiences.
Atheists don't want to borrow that.
Neither do most Christians. There's a real, a little bit of deceit there, I think, because in no way is a believing Christian like myself bound to believe in the reality of psychical phenomenon. Parapsychology itself started out through spiritualism. They are, of course, correct in this particular context, I think. I believe in life beyond death, I believe in immortality, I believe in God, I believe in all those things. Can't say that I believe in ghosts, can't say that I make a big deal of near-death experiences. Near-death implies it's not death, it's near-death. The trouble with psychical phenomenon is simply that parapsychological phenomenon to me, to give them the correct name, is simply that alright, it is believed that they do happen, perhaps they do, but they cannot really be replicated in the laboratory or in those cases where it has been claimed that they have been, you know, there's been all sorts of claims that the evidence was wrongly put together, wrongly interpreted and all that. I don't believe parapsychology is or can be a science. I don't believe that, even if it was proved to be this phenomenon really existing, it actually proves anything. I do not believe that ghosts, if genuine, prove life beyond death. I don't believe that near-death experiences give us a full taste of what it's like after death. But I believe in immortality and I believe in life after death. Why do I believe that? Well, because it's God's revelation to us, and I believe in God's revelation. Why do I believe in God's revelation? The Bible, and for me a little bit more than the Bible. See, atheists have a bit of a problem with this because they see that Christians and other religious believers do believe these things, and atheists can't really apply. So they say, you know, it's not based on evidence, the definition of evidence. So what is that? And then they claim that it's, you know, wishful feeling. That might have been Freud's point of view, I can't remember now. Wishful feeling, and basically we want to believe in any way, it's a conviction. And so atheists recognize that they have a hard time convincing Christians and other religious people that their belief is wrong because it's not really based on argument. It's based on an inner conviction. It's quite easy for a Christian to respond to that. Basically, it's the conviction given to us by the Holy Spirit, supported by the Bible and beyond, and more. Of course, the atheists have to believe in the Holy Spirit. There's no way they can actually test the Holy Spirit scientifically.
Thank you.
So the atheists will say that any evidence claimed for religious belief of any sort is of the weak variety, and that it's more a question of personal conviction without supporting reasons. As Christians disagree on that. We Kierkegaard, the somewhat Christian philosopher who I think invented the expression the leap of faith. I feel I haven't read Kierkegaard, but my little limited understanding is that he believed that faith was precisely that, a leap, that there was no basis for faith. There is. And if the Holy Spirit comes in, and that's all the evidence we need. The argument is often made by atheists that if religions were true, if religion was true, then they would not all contradict each other. And it is certainly true to say that different religions do contradict each other. But we need to make a further distinction here. One is that it's one thing to have the gift of faith, it's another thing to have the right articulation of what it is that we believe. In other words, for example, a Muslim may have the gift of faith just as much as a Christian might. I believe that Islam, as such, in its totality, is a false religion. Christianity is true. However, The point here is that the Muslim who has the gift of faith is limited by the fact that they are in that community, that is what they've been taught to believe, and they're simply not in a position to basically search further.
Yeah.
So the point
Their
is
culture
that,
makes it, not really conducive for them to becoming a Christian.
So the point is that the faith, the true gift of faith, I think in Catholic teaching it's called a theological gift. Theological gift? Whatever. The point being that to have faith is the most important thing, and ideally we should also be in the right spot to practice it, the right church, the right religion, and actually know what it is we believe and why. And yet the gift of faith can still be active in people who are in the wrong church, the wrong organization, the wrong religion, or the wrong teaching. It does not in itself prove that the fact that religions do conflict with each other does not prove that they are all wrong.
No.
It simply means that...
only one of them's right. The rest are right.
Well, what it means is that one is... I will claim that Christianity is a true one, right? But what it means is that other religions have got elements of truth mixed with error.
Yeah.
Some religions, like Buddhism, are actually about something completely different. Buddhist nirvana and Christian salvation, I mean, it's very hard to see that they meet at any point. I don't think they do.
What, Buddhism and Christianity?
Yeah.
Except for the 5 commandments, which are the same.
Yeah, moral laws, and there's other ways of explaining that, like natural law and...
Which they probably finished anyway.
Not necessarily. Natural law and human reasoning can get us relatively far. We all know that it's wrong to kill an innocent person, don't we? We don't need to learn that.